Hello, welcome to Bonnie Mandoe Presents. I'm his mom. Some of you know that Bo helped me produce my first cookbook that came out in 1994, and that is Vegetarian Nights. But never did we realize that 30 years later we would want to produce a 30-year anniversary edition, but we did. After this book was released at the end of 2024, Bo and I were talking, and he realized and reminded me that there was one recipe in here that he had really wished, that one recipe in the original book that he wished was in here and that I had cut. It was a bread recipe called Real Bread, Real Fast for people who think they don't bake. And you can imagine why he wanted it in here, because bread is kind of a universal thing that we eat. But to me, I thought it was okay to cut it because I myself had stopped eating wheat products for reasons of my own health. Anyway, we are going to include that recipe on the screen here for you, so that when you have your book in front of you, and you won't be missing anything.
Pause the screenshot. What we're doing today is a simplified version. I did not add the wheat and rye berries, and I swapped out the whole wheat and gluten flour for basic white flour. Now that the yeast has done its thing, we are going to add our first 3 cups of flour and beat our batter for 100 strokes with a wooden spoon. Once that has been accomplished, we are going to add in our oil, our salt, 2 more cups of flour, and we're going to beat it thoroughly, which will develop the gluten in the flour, which makes kneading easy. Then we will add another 1.5 to 2 cups of flour, mixing with a spoon until the dough is too thick to mix. Then turn it onto a clean counter, sprinkled lightly with flour. Knead the dough using the palms, not the fingers, and turning the mass toward yourself in rhythmic quarter turns, adding flour, about 1/2 cup, as necessary, to keep the dough from being sticky. This takes about 10 to 20 minutes. It is unlikely you will overmix the dough by hand, but if you do, you'll start to see tear marks in the dough itself. Butter your bread pans generously. You will need 2 for this recipe. Add about 1/4 cup more flour as you divide the dough and shape the loaves to fit the pans. Use the same kneading motion to do so. Place shaped loaves in pans to rise and cover them with a clean, damp cloth. Let them rise until almost doubled. 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the weather. Bake for 40 minutes at 350 degrees, then remove the loaves from their pans and cool on a rack. Cool at least 20 minutes before slicing, if you can wait that long. I barely could, but I did because this is for science after all.
Growing up, Bo and our family, we ate a lot of bread, and I baked it all. I don't think we bought bread at all in those days. And the bread that we baked was superior. To the bread section of this book, which is full of information on how to knead the bread, how to select your flour, and a lot of people are going gluten-free, and you can get gluten-free flour too if you want. You can still use the recipe and make the bread.